You know, every time you get on a plane, you're plugging into this massive, incredibly complex global system. But have you ever stopped to think about what actually holds it all together? It's not just the amazing pilots or the incredible engineering, it's an invisible set of rules. A system that works so flawlessly we don't even know it's there. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the unsung hero of your flight.
Okay, just picture this for a second. You're on a flight, maybe coming into a super busy airport like JFK or Heathrow. Now, what if your pilot is thinking about their altitude in meters, but the air traffic controller is giving them instructions in feet? Yeah, it's a recipe for absolute chaos, right? That one little mix-up could lead to massive confusion, critical miscalculations, and honestly, potential disaster. The stakes are just about as high as they get. And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario. This has actually happened. One of the most famous incidents in aviation, the story of the Gimli glider, was caused by exactly this kind of mix-up. This slide right here, it basically shows you the exact kind of mess that can happen. Back in 1983, an Air Canada 767 literally ran out of fuel mid-flight. Why? Because the ground crew calculated the fuel in pounds instead of kilograms. The pilots, thinking in metric, believed they had way more fuel than they did. It just goes to show you, a common language of measurement isn't a nice-to-have, it's an absolute necessity for keeping people safe.
So how on earth did the world fix this huge problem? Well, they created exactly what was needed, a universal aviation language. A single, standardized way for everyone, everywhere, to talk about the most basic measurements of flight. And the folks behind this global handshake are ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. They're a specialized agency of the UN, and their whole job is to set the standards that make global air travel safe and reliable for all of us. And the specific rulebook we're talking about is called ICAO Annex 5. Think of it as the official dictionary for aviation measurement. It lays out, with no room for confusion, the exact units everyone has to use for everything, from fuel and speed to altitude and visibility.
So what's the big deal? Why does this one document matter so much? Well, it all boils down to three huge, absolutely crucial principles that are the bedrock of modern aviation.
First, and this is the big one, safety. When you get rid of the need to convert units, you slash the risk of human error. It's that simple. Second, efficiency. When everybody's on the same page, things just work better. No more wasting precious seconds clarifying, wait, did you say meters or feet? And third, interoperability. This is a game changer. It means a plane from Japan can land in Brazil, guided by a controller from South Africa, and everyone is working from the same script. It's beautiful. You know, one of our sources put it perfectly. They called this standard the glue that holds everything together. And that's exactly what it is. It's this invisible force that lets thousands of people from hundreds of countries work together as one cohesive, safe, and incredibly effective team. Okay, so we get the why, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's dive into the what, the specific units that the pros in the air and on the ground are using every single day. This table lays it out so clearly. You can see how a pilot is focused on kilograms for fuel and nautical miles for distance. But the air traffic controller managing that same flight, they're using feet for altitude and knots for speed. And the meteorologist, they're providing crucial weather data in meters and degrees Celsius. Everybody has their lane, but they're all on the same highway. All right, let's put ourselves in the cockpit for a second. Imagine you're a pilot. You're juggling a ton of information. Knowing that your fuel is always in kilograms and your distance is always in nautical miles, well, that takes a huge potential stressor off the table. There's no guesswork, you can just focus on flying the plane. Now let's zip over to the control tower. An air traffic controller might be juggling dozens of planes at once. Their instructions have to be crystal clear and understood instantly. By using the global standards of feet and knots, their words mean the exact same thing to a pilot from British Airways, Japan Airlines, or American Airlines. No translation needed. And this common language isn't just for the people in the sky or in the tower. When a meteorologist reports visibility in meters or the temperature in Celsius, that's not just trivia. That precise standardized information is absolutely critical for pilots to make safe decisions about taking off and landing.
But you know, a standard like this doesn't just appear out of thin air and then stay the same forever. Like aviation itself, Annex 5 is a living document. It's had to change and evolve right alongside the technology.
The whole idea started way back in 1944. The first edition of Annex 5 dropped in 1948. Then a really big update came in 1979 when they started moving toward the metric system, or SI units.
and the latest version came out in 2010. Now, you might have noticed it's kind of a mix. We've got kilograms and meters right alongside feet and nautical miles. That's really just a historical compromise. Things like altitude and feet were so deeply baked into the system, the instruments, the procedures, that it was just more practical to make that the global standard. It's a perfect example of a standard born from real-world use. And that's the key thing here. This isn't some dusty old rulebook sitting on a shelf. ICAO is constantly revising and updating it to keep up with new technology and new ways of operating. It has to evolve to keep ensuring the highest levels of safety.
So let's bring all of this home. The next time you're on a plane, maybe looking out the window at 35,000 feet, what's the one thing you should remember from all of this?
It's this right here. Your smooth, safe journey is made possible by a document you've probably never even heard of. It really is the unsung hero, that invisible framework that makes sure every single person involved in your flight is speaking the exact same language.
When you boil it all down, Annex 5 is so much more than just a list of units. It is the crucial tool that makes global aviation safe, efficient, and cooperative, things we all take for granted every time we fly.
So we've seen that in the world of aviation, every single unit counts. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other invisible rulebooks are out there, quietly working in the background to keep our incredibly complex modern world running safely and smoothly every single day? It's a pretty amazing thought.